Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, right. It's time for. Is it time for this already? Sorry, I was just having my. I'm just having my shower. Welcome back to another episode of Automating Minecraft. This is a series where we're using code to automate tasks in Minecraft, and hopefully in a way that doesn't bore or push away people that don't know about programming. Just so we understand what this means, in the last episode we automated my bamboo collection process. So, when I stand in this position and line myself up so I'm straight with this torch, thunder, and I press F6, my bamboo is automatically collected. This is a program that only presses my keyboard and moves my mouse for me in a set way, so it can't actually see the bamboo. It's not a Minecraft mod. It doesn't actually kind of, I guess, know what it's doing. It's just clicking my mouse, moving my mouse around, pressing my buttons on my keyboard, and that's it. We also implemented some basic computer vision, so I can specify a region of the screen that the computer looks at and then isolate a specific color. This can be very useful when moving the mouse to the correct position, like it does at the start of this program. If I press F3, we can see that in the middle of the screen there is a green line, a blue line, and a red line, and this shows the X, Y, and Z direction. In the program, when I start over here, it presses F3, as you might have seen, and then gets a screenshot of the center of the screen, then moves the mouse up until it can't see the red line anymore. So then we know that we're straight with the bamboo. We're not aiming too high and not collecting a lot of bamboo, not aiming too low and destroying all the bamboo. Now, the computer vision will be very useful in this episode, where we will be starting in the Nether, because I want to get rid of boring Nether journeys. So there are two places that I go to regularly. That's the end, which is down there, and my factory, which is over there, for producing terracotta and bricks and stuff. We did make a video about that. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go and see that. But yeah, my problem is, and you probably have this problem. It's just look at the Nether roof. Like, look, that's pretty cool. And obviously, like, yes, our center is beautiful, and the paths are all right, but it's just nothing. It's just nothingness. You get past here and it's just nothingness. There's just nothing here. And it's so dull. And so what happens is, to me, is, I'm flying down here, and then all of a sudden it'll happen. And it'll happen just very suddenly. How long was I out? What? How long? Right. We're going to the end. Yes. Oh, right. I'm making a video. Yes. You see, this is what happens. This happens, and then I wake up. I'm more confused about where I'm going. I just fall asleep because it's so dull. Yes. So this is the first one, the end portal. The Nether portal to the end portal, and the other one is even more boring because it's not even connected up to the to the Nether hub. Because it's so far away, which is my factory, which is at about, is it minus 590, minus 790, something like that. Let's head over there. And look, there's just nothing. There's just nothing out here, well, except for this path. But there's nothing. There's nothing for hundreds of blocks. There's just... what? Yes, where am I? Yeah, it's this way. Factory, right? Sorry, right. You see, it's so easy. Hey, wait. Hey! Sorry, I had to do that. Just some of you just fell asleep there. Right, okay. There we go, and then we're at our factory, and there's nothing. And I'll go and head back, but I'm going to go and cut, because, well, first off, I'm probably going to fall asleep again, and the second thing is, I don't want you to fall asleep again. So what I'm thinking is, oh, by the way, if you're wondering, yes, it happened twice on the journey back. Oh, I'm running out of rockets. Right, what I'm thinking is, I need a memorable spot to start from, right? We need to start from the same time, because all this program's doing is just moving my mouse and pressing my keyboard. It's not calculating anything using my coordinates or anything like that. It's not a Minecraft mod. It's just doing it in a set way to get me over there. So I could like pick a spot here, like this resin or something like that, like as I come out my portal, or maybe this bamboo. But I feel like I'll just forget what it is because there's so many things over here that are memorable. Like if I pick this bamboo, I might go, was it this bamboo, or did I go with the resin over here, or was it this first block of ice, or was it slightly behind the bamboo? And I start to kind of get all confused. And so what I thought was, instead of kind of having a load of points which look like they could be the point that I start on, if I just have this block over here, this block, like there's no other block that is really a block you can stand on, except for maybe like around here there's this one. But this is kind of around the back of the portal, and there's a few over here, but obviously I'm going to hit my head if I go and do that, and this is too far away from anything. And also I didn't really have many memorable blocks, but we've got like a block covered in, a moss block covered in resin that you can just jump up on, and it's right here. Also, even though this portal's in my base, I use this portal a lot more because I actually timed it, and it's actually faster for me from my hill to fly down to this portal than to go through my base and go to this portal, because I have to go through like some doors and around some corners. So I actually use this one like a lot more than this one. So it might make sense to have a block that's closer to this portal. This is what I'm thinking. I need to look up, then jump, fire rocket, and then head down this way. And let's do the end first, and then we'll go and do the other one after, because it's a lot further away. So I need to get things worked out before we can actually, you know, go and do that massive journey. So if we go and stand up on this block, we'll kind of be able to see what we need to do. Right, so I could look up until green's disappeared. That's fine, right? Doesn't matter where I'm kind of facing. I look up until green's disappeared, fire the rocket, and then look down until... Ooh, that's a tricky one. Because if I'm looking down, I can say look down until red's disappeared, but that's actually looking slightly up. So actually, because I need it to be facing straight this way, right? So if I kind of go, and then I go and aim straight using the F3 screen, I'll be heading in the right direction. Let's have a look again. Right, so I'm looking up, I look down until red has disappeared. If I look down until red disappears and then appears again, and then look up, does that work? Can I do that? So if I'm here, and I make it look up by hiding green, and I say look down until red's disappeared, then look down until red's appeared, and then look up until red's disappeared, and it'll be perfectly straight. The only problem is if it's slightly out, like if I'm looking like this, then it will be red's disappeared, red's appeared. Oh, I guess that kind of works. Or unless I'm looking this way, then red doesn't disappear and I just keep looking down. So I need to make sure I'm facing down this row here. So right now all I've done is just the code for flying directly up into the sky. So like last time, all I have to do is give a name to this. So I've called it fly to end. And then I just say copy the code from above, which we wrote last time, which I never need to go and look at again. And so now it's very simple to go and add anything to. All I have to do is just add actions, which can be keyboard presses, or instructions like look up until no green, or like mouse presses. So what I've got is, first I put the rockets in my hand, so I always keep rockets in the 8th slot. Then it looks up until it can't see green on the screen anymore. Then it activates the elytra, which is pressing space, and then pressing space again. And then to fire the rocket, all it does is it presses the right mouse button. And then I've set the button to activate this to F10, because F9 does my recording software, so F10 is the next F number that I can use. Right, so if we now go... Actually, it doesn't really matter if I don't go to this block, because we're obviously only launching up in the air. Also, on the screen, if you didn't see the last episode, there'll be a black box with some white pixels in it. That is what the computer sees. So what the computer sees, obviously, if I activate my F3, it'll only see that green line. It seems like a cow's come through my portal. I'll have to sort that out. It'll only see that green line, so it'll be everything green, which does mean there is a little bit on like the bamboo that it can see, because the bamboo is quite green and quite a similar color to this green line. I can make it even more specific, but because when you look up you don't actually see any green, it's actually fine, and the moss doesn't activate it. If I press F10, the rocket will go in my hand, and then you should be able to see what the computer sees on the screen. And there we go! Launches up in the air. And that's all it does, and I'm going to take a lot of damage if I just let it fall down again, so I'm going to go and land peacefully. So now what we need to do... So I think if it looks down so it can't see red anymore, there, then looks down until it can see red, there, you can see a little bit of red at the bottom, and then looks up so it can't see red, we're now perfectly in level. So I've got that implemented. The only difference now is that what the computer sees display might take a little bit of time to actually show up. So to get the computer to see is pretty instant, but actually to display what the computer sees takes about 3 seconds. So what I've done previously is just had the program wait for 3 seconds and then start. So what we have is what the computer's actually seeing on the screen while it's doing it. But for this, because it has to kind of move down quite quickly, like when it's up in the air, it then has to look down quite quickly, or we could just like fall to the ground. Like if it did it quite slowly, we're falling to the ground, and then it goes, and we might hit the ground and stuff. So what I've done is I've just removed that 3 second wait, so it's going to still take 3 seconds, but we might be like up in the air looking this way by the time it comes on, so we might get nothing. But let's just see. Let's just see if it displays anything. Now if I go and look down here and press F10, we'll be able to see that there we go. It launches up, and then it looks down. Oh, that is the only problem I found. It was, yeah, lucky that we got that. So elytra aren't perfect. We all know elytra aren't perfect, where sometimes we'll like launch an elytra up and it won't activate properly. Is that a magma cube? Where did you spawn? You shouldn't be here. Yeah, so you know when you've done it, when you've just like launched up into the air, and then for some reason your elytra just activates, flies you up, and then stops, and then you've gone fall like down. It's happened to us all. So that can sometimes just happen, just because that's just Minecraft. So let's go and do that one more time, and it should go and work. F10. Anyway, it'll fire up into the air. It did it again! This does not normally happen. Let's try this one more time. So look straight, and then F10. There we go. And then as you see, it looks down until it can't see red, looks down until it can see red, and then it looks up until it can't see red again, and we are perfectly level. If I go and get like free cam out, you'll see we just go heading off into the distance. So now what we need to do is go and do that, and then get the number of seconds until... Is this the road? I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. Until we reach this end portal. What I'm thinking is like the way of getting there. Let me just launch myself up. So if I go woo and then go off. What I'm thinking is the way of hitting the end portal. We're flying along. Like we're never ever going to get it into a position where it's going to land on this platform. I don't think that can happen. We're definitely never going to get it to land without taking damage. I think that's just going to be impossible. And especially land on a platform, there's just too much inconsistencies with like when Minecraft registers keyboard inputs and when my computer registers keyboard inputs, and like with our maybe slight differences on where we started on the block, a little bit further back, a little bit further forward. There's little things where I think it's just going to be too inconsistent. So what I'm thinking is, how much damage do I take if I just aim down? If I'm flying, right? And I'm flying, and I'm coming over to this. And then I just go... I have feather falling boots. I don't think that's going to be too bad. Let me just go and have a look. See if it's going to cause too much damage. So I go like this. I go up, and then I go straight this way. Am I straight? There we go. Right, straight this way. And I can kind of see at the bottom there. There we go. And I just head over, and I get to about this point, and I just go... Yeah, I think we'll be fine. I think that's going to be the best thing for it. And then I can kind of manually move over. And it doesn't matter if I'm down here, because there's a scaffolding, which I can just go boop and just go up. I don't think it's going to do enough damage for me to die. Unless I could try without my boots on or without my armor on and see if that's considerably more. Ooh, I'm definitely going to die doing this. So I can kind of do quite a bit. I couldn't do like at full speed, but I can maybe do... Okay. Maybe not as much as what I thought I could do. Yeah, so I'll just have to make sure that I keep my boots on. So now what we need is we need the amount of seconds it takes to get over to that. So then we can just like just aim down. So if I go and do that again, and I make myself level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's maybe 7 seconds, but I think I was aiming down. Let's just try 7 seconds. Let's see how that goes, and I'll be right back when we've got that implemented. So what I've implemented is pretty simple. So I've just added a look down until green function here. So I'll just do what it says, look down until you don't see any green in the F3 screen. And then if you don't remember what this is the starting and ending point in time. This program runs at 60 times per second. So that means 60 times per second a number will be added to. The last point, or it ends at point 17. If you add 10 seconds, which will be 600 in this time, it will be 617 is the starting and ending point of look down till no green. So I haven't actually tested this. Let's hop into the game and see how it goes. Okay, so we press F10. I'm up in the air. Good. Right, okay. So now it should go for 10 seconds, and then it should go and attempt to land, or crash or something. Here, there we go. Oh, that did a little more damage than what I thought it was going to do. Is this... Where am I? I am way down the line. Oh no, I'm not. That's not too far. Let's try like 2 seconds less. I'm gonna just try different amount of seconds, and we'll see if we can get one that works better. Now you might be saying, Bobby, why didn't you go with the 7 seconds you counted instead of changing it to 10 seconds for some reason? And yep, that's what I said while editing this. I think what I did was I was thinking I was flying a little bit faster when I counted the 7 seconds, so I went back again and kind of counted nearer to 10 seconds, so I just thought, I'll just round up. But as you'll see, Bobby Wash should have stuck with 7 seconds. Right, so I found the amount seems to be about 7 seconds. No way! So only 3 seconds less, so we're pretty close. Ooh, oh, that's pretty good. Oh, that is a lot of health, but we are pretty close to the end portal, and I think that is good enough for me. It's just this little walk down here. And like I say, getting it so it's on this path, not this one, it's going to be just an impossible task. Now my elytra does need repairing, so I'm going to go and hop into here. But now that we've gone and done that, let's go and see if we can get to the factory. So I think getting over to the factory is going to be a little bit more complicated. I'm not going to try and go diagonal. I think that's going to be a big mistake and going to cause a lot of problems. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the nether paths and head down here until, was it minus 590? And then once I reach that, go and turn and fly off in this direction until minus 790. I think that's just going to be a lot easier to implement. And trying to go diagonal, trying to kind of find the angle to go diagonal and all that, that's going to be no. So what I'm thinking is if I just launch myself up in the air and then I go and just head down in this direction and then I kind of just stay at this level and then count how many fireworks I need to fire to, that's 1, until I get to 590. 2, 3, and then I turn and then, oh, am I going the right direction? There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can come down, and there we go, there's the portal. So that was about 3 with one, 4 with the other. That should be it, hopefully. We'll see if there's anything else, any more complications that come up. But that should be it just to get over here. Let me go and fly back, and I'll go and... yes, I'll go and implement that, and we'll see. We'll see if it works. Okay, so I've done some playing around with the amount of rockets being fired, and I found that it's so inconsistent. I'll just do it because we might get perfectly there. We're normally in around like 100 blocks, so it's not too bad. But where we end up it's seemingly very random. Sometimes we hit the ground, sometimes we don't hit the ground, and that's just based off of, I think, a lot of different factors, as I was saying earlier and in the last episode. So as you can see, we're heading off in this direction, and very soon we'll start to turn, but where that is exactly is a little bit random. So then we went a bit over, sometimes a little bit under, so it should be about 590. Obviously this time a bit over, sometimes a bit under, and what I've started to do is lose height, and I'll land, and as you can, pretty close. It's be like this way a little bit. There we go. So we're pretty close, but I do hit the ground, and that's not great. So what I was thinking is there anything I can do to combat that? Because sometimes I can be a little bit further away when I hit the ground as well. And yes, is there anything I can do to stop that? And the answer is, I think, if it could look at... So when I play Minecraft, we have a data pack on the server which allows you to be able to display your coordinates at the bottom of the screen. That's why my coordinates are there. And if I got to look at that part of the screen, just the middle part of the screen, which is the Y coordinate, and then it read that somehow, got a number, and then when that got like lower than maybe 150, how low is that? Okay, like lower than 150, we just go and then look back down. That'll I think that'll work. So on the right of the screen you can see just the part of my screen where it's the coordinates and just the white part of that screen. So that's kind of perfectly matched up to what's being displayed at the bottom of the screen there. And on the left of the screen is what the computer thinks is the text that's being put there. So we can see it's pretty good, right? It works quite well. There are some times where it gets a little bit confused. Like that, like what is that? It doesn't know what 12 is. But most of the time it's pretty good. And I think it's good enough where if I fly, we can get, if you just look at the Y, we can kind of determine when I'm less than 150, sorry. And if I'm left to 150, we just launch a rocket up and then look down. I think it's going to be good enough. I think for what we need to use it for, it's going to be good enough. Potentially, if we use this in the future, we might need to get a more powerful system for determining the numbers. It might also be like the font might be messing it up. I don't know if there's a way of me changing the font. But yeah, anyway, so now what I want to do, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a system where it just looks at the middle number and then constantly look if that middle number is below 150, then it looks up and then fires a rocket. Okay, so that's been implemented now and it works. The only problem is that, remember when I said the program runs at 60 times per second? The algorithm for determining what text is on the screen is quite slow, meaning that my computer can't get everything done in time to run the program 60 times a second. So I can run it now, and as you can see on my screen, there is up here, there is what the computer sees. Over here, there's what the computer thinks is the text on the screen, and down here is the time in seconds from the computer's perspective. If I go and do it now, there we go. We will actually fly off thousands of blocks in the wrong direction. Because as you can see right now, from the computer's perspective, it's not even been a second. Now we want it to launch up into the air. It launches into the air when the Y gets below 150. I don't know if maybe, because I don't think it was below 150. Maybe it was. I haven't really been watching it. Maybe it just read it as another number there. But as you can see, the getting too low code does work. It launches itself up into the air and then re-angles itself to go straight, because we are heading straight at the minute. There we go. The solution I'm going to be implementing is moving the two tasks from one program to two. So currently the main program that moves my mouse and presses my keyboard for me also looks at my coordinates. But if I move this to another program, then the main one can focus on moving me in-game, and the other one can focus on my coordinates. Because they are now separate, the time that one takes to run won't affect the other one. They can just both run concurrently. I've done a similar thing already with the stop program. Because this has to detect when I press the stop keys at any point, this has to be running at the same time as the main program. So it doesn't matter if the program is in the middle of moving my mouse, it's interrupted and stops. So I've got that working, kind of. We're currently in a test version of the server, so that might give you an indication of how this is going. there's a problem with the ability to run 2 tasks at once. That works, but if both these tasks need to be completed at the same time, it breaks. For example, if my Y coordinate gets too low at the same time I need to turn, my computer fails to do both actions and my Minecraft character does something weird. There's also, as stated earlier, a lot of randomness to elytra flying, more than what I expected. So this causes me to be in different positions in the end, sometimes too far away, and sometimes I'm very close. So I'll go now and just show off the program, and then we'll just see if anything goes wrong. I don't know. So what you see up on the screen, on the left is my coordinates, or what the computer thinks my coordinate is, and on the right is the time in seconds. So we'll be able to see that the problem is fixed with time. The time will count up properly. You'll see that time doesn't actually move while moving my mouse around, but it will when I'm flying. That's because it counts that as one task, so it just waits until it's finished that task, then continues with time. But we can see that time is counting up appropriately, and I'm turning. Ooh, bit overturned. Ooh. There's also a little problem, which sometimes I've found, where it's not quite lined up properly. Oh, there we go. So it waits until blue's removed, but it's not quite lined up properly, so it can still see a little bit of blue when it turns. So I've had that problem happen a few times. What I've also set is that it will only change my Y coordinate. There we go, we've made it to the area. Looks like we're a little bit maybe facing out, but I think we're pretty close actually. What I've also done is when I'm flying this way, so I start off flying this way, and then it will correct my Y coordinate, but when I start flying this way, it doesn't do that anymore. Because I had so many problems with it. I think when the coordinates getting a little bit longer, I think when they both kind of go into minuses, stuff like that, it just kept messing up too much. That it kind of works sometimes, but not all the time. So there are a lot of problems that I've found with this code. The main one is that this series started off as a simple idea to have my computer move my mouse and press my keyboard for me and just have me start in the same place each time. And this is what I designed my code to do. However, to actually get this task to run properly, there's a lot more that needs to be done, and it's getting more and more difficult to bend my code to work with this new system. So a new program is required to do this task properly. This new program, I'm thinking, will have the ability to read and respond to coordinates rather than just moving in a set way, so the program will have to make decisions. It will also need a process to maybe have multiple tasks running at the same time, but a way of not trying to do 2 things at once. I have some ideas of how this program will work, and I'll start working on that now. There are also some improvements I've thought of, and another from the comments of the last video for my bamboo collection system. So I'm thinking of having an improvements video or a series to really make some interesting code improving on all them tasks. I got the question last episode of why I don't just use baritone, I think that's how you say it. This is a Minecraft mod which makes automating tasks very simple. You just type something like get oak wood and the program will locate the nearest oak tree, move towards it and break it down. This is really powerful and I'm not against using it, but just not in this series. I do this series on a Minecraft server, and the server rules state that I shouldn't use any mods that give me an unfair advantage. Baritone has the access to the Minecraft world around the player, so it can see things that the player can't, and so this would be an unfair advantage. In my case, my program is only pressing my keyboard and moving my mouse for me, and it can only see what's on my screen. Also, it's not completing any tasks that give me an unfair advantage, and I'm always here watching it because it could get something wrong and start destroying something, or with elytra flying, killing me. Also, baritone isn't really what this series is about. I could have made a Minecraft mod or used baritone to complete these tasks, but I wanted to do it in a way that simulates a player. A player only has access to their monitor to see the game and their keyboard and mouse to move the character around. I also wanted to, hopefully, do it in a way that inspires others to do similar things. I think the best thing about programming is realizing that, in the computer world anyway, you can kind of do anything. And you can even do things that are cool but don't really have a purpose. Like this, and that the purpose of making something doesn't have to be because it's efficient or the best way to do it, it could just be because it's fun, even if it's just fun to you. And also, what I wanted to show, and hopefully I'll get better at showing, is that anyone can do it. And that's not just about programming, so if you have any ideas you want to try, especially if there's no financial cost to it, like programming, why not? It doesn't matter as long as it's fun to do. And finally, I'm also quite new to making this style of videos, so if you think there's anything I could do better, I would love to hear about it. And finally, if this inspires you to build something like this, please share it with us. We, meaning me and the rest of the audience, I assume, would love to hear about it. And finally, if you have any suggestions for boring things that you want to see me tackle in this series, put them in the comments. And finally, let's head to my factory and I'll end the episode, because there are some more boring tasks in my factory that I need to conquer. Oh, that is weird without the purple effect. But that's going to be the next episode. So finally, goodbye. Whoa.